Yo, chat.
Yeah, got it on lock. Find the fury. Come on, you gotta find the will to fight. Fight.
Yeah, chat.
Fight. Come on, you gotta face the darkest side. I'm a
I
fight.
gotta mute the stuff so I don't get copyrighted. Chat. Day one. It's the global chat. Let's go. I am the chosen. I am. Yo, chat. Yamzo got disqualified. Yes. Yes. Chat. 3 minutes. You was good. Ryoma. I'm sorry, I couldn't say your name. I cannot pronounce it. I'm so sorry. 2 minutes, chat. I'ma find ya. I'ma find ya. Minute 30, chat. Let's go. Chat, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win globals, chat? I wanna know. What's your guys' prediction? "40 seconds, chat. Let's go." Everyone, please like the stream. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
With every single region.
No, I just want to prove to everybody that we are the best.
You're 100% here to win.
We won first FNCS major.
We had one of the best seasons so far.
I said we're going to win the back-to-back seasons, and it happened.
I think the top teams were the best they've ever been.
I think the other competitors are very tough, motivated.
In Brazil, there's definitely a bunch of underrated, really good fighters there.
I think we're prepared and we're confident.
Weezy and Thomas.
I just think NA's better.
BBR.
Al igual que Thiago, a mí lo que me mueve es ganar y nada más. No hay otra cosa que me interese en mi vida, así que por lo que vengo es porque quiero ganar y no hay otra cosa.
絶対に1位取って帰ります。1位はもらえます。
It all comes down to how I play, how he plays, how they play.
Today we're all just here playing the game. I mean, we're just gonna go out there, have fun.
The main thing we're striving for is the trophy.
I think it'd be pretty cool to just like win another LAN.
I think lifting the trophy is definitely like the best achievement to get in Fortnite.
If we won that LAN, I would definitely tear up. That's the one thing I haven't proven to myself.
I think both of us, we want to leave the trophy.
If we stay uncontested, we could definitely win.
The most important thing for us is to be confident we're gonna do good.
I really just don't see us losing.
Exceed, boys, chat.
Fortnite fam, are you guys ready?
Chat, that's a huge stadium.
Hello and welcome to the 2024 FNCS Global Championship, coming at you guys live from Dickies Arena here in Fort Worth, Texas. My name is Zeke, and over the next 2 days, we'll be watching Peak Fortnite. Six different regions represented on this stage, battled out for a single title, Global Champions. Man, it has been a year build up leading to this very moment in time, and we cannot wait to share in that moment with you all, wherever you're watching from, whether it's here or back home. There's so much to be excited for. Now, something to be very excited for is Kelly is Mini Miner. That's right, your analyst will be talking us through everything. Guys, we've made it. After 3 majors, we're finally here.
There's an
I've
hour.
been ready for this moment since we finished up 2023
It starts in an hour,
Globals.
chat.
I feel like every time we wrap up a LAN, I'm just ready for the next. I now have my collection of LAN pins right here. I am so excited to get these games started, Minnie.
I feel like it's flown by as well. I feel like it was only yesterday we were
He's
in
British,
Copenhagen
right?
for the last Global Championships.
Chat,
This year leading
British.
up to this event
He's
has been
British,
absolutely
chat.
spectacular. And this event always delivers. The Global Championships,
trying to
Fortnite
go
LAN,
in, bro.
Fortnite in-person events,
Let's go.
they always deliver. I cannot wait for this weekend. It's going to be so good.
That's right. Now that we've been here in person, you know, what have you guys been experiencing? Like getting to meet the players, see them, kind of like, what have you seen?
Let's
Yeah,
go.
we've been in the player lounge a little bit, talking to a lot of the players. I finally got to knock off talking to some of my favorite NA West players, of course, Batman, Booga, and Rapid, as well as Re and Ritual, and also talking to their parents. I love the support that these families give these players.
That's right. That's right. Well, hey, look, it's not just us that's going to be talking about Fortnite all weekend long. Let's take a quick little tour around the venue. Please give a big warm welcome to none other than Adam Savage.
Thank you so much, my friends. You know what? You couldn't have picked a more perfect time to check in with me. I'm here in the players' lounge right now. That's right. I'm backstage. Don't have the pass. Snuck my way in because I'm doing it all about you guys. It's all for you. This is the perfect time because all the players have just come in from the main stage. They're getting ready for their last practice game prior to kicking off. But I've seen players from all around the world. The likes of Alex and Worthy from OCE, Cami and Seti from EU, Akon and Cole from NA.
Bro, some extra Jersey people are playing King Kong.
Ping pong. They're having fun the last few days, kind of relaxing in between games. Now it's all about getting ready for those 12 coming our way over the next 2 days here. I can kind of feel real energy in the air. Everyone's excited. It's going to be exciting. There's friends, there's family in the wings too. Tons of snacks. I'm going to dive into those right now, actually. Obviously, this is an extended family. Loads more of us to check in with. Now we're checking in with Vivid and his stunt double, Levan2K.
Making our way around the arena. Of course, I had to find the man himself. The doors opened not too long ago. How does that make you feel?
Oh my goodness. The atmosphere is already great. I mean, everyone's loading in. You can see people excited for the competition to start, and as am I.
And let's hone in on said competition. We've had the pleasure of walking around the practice area where the players have been hanging out over the past couple of days. What's the vibe over there?
Ooh, you can tell everybody's locked in. I mean, the players really come with that energy. Everyone's putting their best foot forward to try and leave as the global champions.
And shout out to everybody that's going to be joining us, the creators. We're actually standing in the Creator Lounge. We'll have the opportunity to talk to a bunch of the influencers around Fortnite. They've been walking around. How's that feel?
That was Luffy's not there, chat.
Some of my favorite Fortnite creators here. I can't wait to go meet everyone.
Luffy should have been there, chat.
Awesome stuff there. Now let's talk about the action and those that are going to be calling it over to MDF and Taco.
That's right. Thank you so much, Vivid. And yes, we are here. We probably have some of the best seats in the house.
Easily, man. I mean, we get a whole overview of the entire arena.
Mr.
But my
Beach
favorite
just dropped
part
the
is
video
we're
right
literally
now, chat.
right next to the creators. We are going to hear plenty of pop-ups, I think, coming out of all these respective players. And again, out of all the respective content creators as well. But MDF, I think my favorite part about this weekend is you could literally take a hat, throw all 50 duos into it, pull one out, and it wouldn't even surprise you if they ended up being our global champions, because that's the level of talent that we're working with here this weekend.
And the level of prestige, right? We're only just getting a sample of it in the weeks to come as we've seen the scrims happening all throughout in preparation, getting ready for, of course, this global affair that's happening right now. But Zeke, take us through what's coming next.
Man, that was just a look, right? Well, there's so much happening here, and thank you to all of you guys. We can't wait to catch up with you. But now let's start kind of very at the beginning. Let's just start, you know, right at the door. What are we looking at here? Let's talk about that format. So remember last year's Globals, it was a single day, 6 games, but we make the return to the 2-day format.
Yeah, this is typically what we see in the NCS finals, 2 days, and what we've got added this year is that 1.5 times on day number 2, which really just has these incredible comeback stories. We've seen teams literally in 40th place jump up to the top 5 in day 2.
Yeah, and the difference as well is there's a bit of a skill gap actually in learning from day 1 performances going into day number 2. We didn't have that at the last year's Global, so if teams are making mistakes in day number 1, maybe they're doing some things right, some things not so right, they're going to learn and adapt to the lobby from day number 1, and the teams that apply themselves the best in that day number 2, they're the ones that find the most success. So I'm interested to see how that affects this weekend.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting, on the drop spot, Veno, if you guys watched, actually talked about that, right? Day 1, their strategies would kind of come out, and then day 2, all they had to do was have that opportunity to answer, right? So I can't wait to dive into that more. Let's talk about that prize pool though as well. $400,000 for the duo that walks away in the first place. However, don't forget, everyone makes something for just making it to this stage.
Yeah, $200,000 per player for getting first place after 12 games of Fortnite is not a bad chunk of change.
I mean, not bad at all. Also, that prestige of winning an
Okay,
FNCS
if you
Global
get,
Championship. Being
like,
able to post that on
last
socials,
place, chat.
I am the global champion. Me and my duo, we have done it. Comes with its own prestige as well. So I think players are going to be fighting for that too.
There's so much at stake here, right? These players have really poured
No,
everything
there's
they have
not.
to
It's
appear
not
here.
even like
6
last
regions
year's
represented.
globals.
This
Like
is peak
first
Fortnite.
place, you
Yeah,
get 500K
I mean, honestly,
each.
just
Chat.
showcasing some of the players that weren't able to qualify into the grand finals or global championships just showcases how competitive the competition has really been over the last 3 majors.
Yeah, I mean, Taco hit the nail on the head right there. You could literally throw all of the teams into a hat, pull one out and be like, this could be our global champion. There's so much talent on display from all different regions. What I love to see as well at these global events, you get to see different strategies from different regions that you haven't seen before. Lots of other interesting things that the different regions are going to bring, and it all comes together on this big stage.
That's right. We talked about it, prize money, prestige. Well, there's one more thing the players are fighting for.
The trophy! It also has the Champions 3.0! Yo, chat, what's this France right here, chat? Where's the 3.0? I want to see the 3.0, chat! Chat, what is this? What is this, chat? Chat, what is this? Chat, what's happening? Chat, what's happening, chat? I want to see the Champions 3.0! I want to see it! Or should it be like the OG after champion? Yes! I want to see Pete or Chris holding that, bro. Yeah!
Wow! Welcome into the main stage here at FNCS Global Championships 2024. It is so great to have you here. As you can see, I'm stood right next to this incredible trophy. After 12 games, one of our duos will lift this high in the air and be crowned global champions. Dallas, are we ready for this?
Yeah!
They're really ready. One more time, let me hear you!
Yeah! I'm not in Dallas though,
Cannot
sadly,
wait to get this show on the road. It is time for our players to mount up because game 1 is imminent. It's back to Zeke and the gang. We can't wait to get the show on the road.
I mean, guys, for y'all at home, can you not feel it? This stage is
Bro,
electric.
someone
The
gets
audience here
disqualified
already,
mid-game,
they
bro.
continue to pour in.
I
They're
want
excited to see
PK?
some of the action. So let's kind of talk about what we're going to be seeing
Or
here
like
this
if
weekend. They are
Halo
all here
BT
fighting
was
for a
there,
title.
bro,
Global
he
champion.
would
There's only
actually
been
be good
one
because-
other duo to do that in Cooper and Miro. So all of these duos have already seen what that looks like. They've seen the prestige that comes with that. And now they're all thinking the same thing. I want that.
I mean, what an incredible moment that was last year. And the interview that we got from Miro and Cooper just really resonated with so many people around the world. So many people that want to be on this stage one day.
Yeah, it just showed us what it
Should've been
really
a
meant
part
to
of
be a
that
global
scene.
champion. We hadn't had that before, right? That was our first global champions crowned, and you could tell how much it meant to both of those guys. The interviews you mentioned was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, but
Now,
Miro
though, it's a
kept
different
the
landscape for
trophy.
Cooper, of course, no longer playing with Miro, who, because the competition is so fierce, he hasn't actually qualified here today. Now, though, playing playing with Kanada. Interested to see how this duo do, of course, landing at the Nitrodrome in the middle of the map. I was speaking to Cooper a little bit, and he was like, I'm a little bit nervous we could get landed on. Teeny and Chap could be shaping up to go there, but right now they're in the center of the map. They have a good strategy. They're playing well, and with the experience of Kanada, who hasn't missed an FNCS final, by the way, they should be on for a winner.
I mean, as soon as they joined together, they were able to grab that 3rd place spot in Major 2, and even in Major 3, where their main strategy was taken out of the game the day before the Grand Finals, they were still able to clutch up a 14th place. Kanada is one of the smartest IGLs to ever be in Fortnite.
Yeah, bro.
And paired up with Cooper, who is one of the most insane in-game players, I cannot wait to see them compete here on this stage.
Absolutely disgusting. I mean, when we just think about them in the year, and it's not just them, right? We've got 50 duos to talk about. Let's bring up that lobby list and take a look at our first 25. We're just going to put this up on screen, and there's so many different names to discuss. Yeah, I'm just going to pick a kind of a random name from this lobby list. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this duo before. I don't know,
Cooper
Clix
and
Veno.
Kanada, Queasy and Thomas.
Yeah, I think
Epic and Mars. Clix and Veno.
Clix and Veno, I don't think there has been a better story than this duo forming in Major 3 when we saw so many players from around the world migrating for that last chance to be able to claim their spot on the global stage. And when Veno joined Clix, he said, I want to give Clix his first FNCS win ever. And a lot of us thought he was talking about Major 3. I think he was talking about the global championships.
Yeah, and I think Clix is the perfect teammate for Veno. Veno needs someone that's just going to listen, that's just going to follow his tasks, just going to follow his lead. And I think Clix in this lobby right now is probably one of, if not the best player at doing that, following, listening, whilst also bringing some fragging power as well. Now, of course, they're landing down there at Sandy Steps. Originally, we thought they were going to be uncontested. Damo and Resigns actually literally told us on the Dropspot podcast that we actually might be able to land on them. So Clix and Veno may be contested today, which could play into their favor, getting that early Storm Surge damage to then go to that forecast tower, but we're not too sure how that's going to play out because it took us by storm,
people were
If there is any duo to be able to handle a wrench thrown in their plans, it is this duo right here. We saw how well they performed day 1 in Major 3, then day 2 things change up. They still got 4th place. We look at the most recent Cash Cup finals where Peterbot and Pollo are taking their forecast tower over and over again, and they still get 3rd. This duo cannot be stopped.
Yeah, they are absolutely incredible. And I think that is going to be a key element to their success, right? Is how can they make it Osborne? What's that Osborne situation going to look like? Are they going to go for that forecast tower? Because we know that Peterbot and Pollo like to go down to that south area to try and get it. It's so valuable as well. In this no mobility meta, knowing where those future zones are, it's a prize worth fighting for.
And speaking
no mobility because of being jetpacks and shocks are not in.
That has evolved over this
Only
season
mobility this season is the fucking Fizz and the dashes.
To see how this face-off is going to
But Zone's probably
not
he's
been pretty vocal about it, right? What kind of sparked this whole thing? I mean, do we expect it to go a certain way, or what do you think?
I'm intrigued. I think it's one of those situations where both teams have very similar players. You have Veno and Peterbot who play a very similar role. They're sort of the IGL fragger. They like to lead. They like to have their teammate in their back pocket, following them at all times, playing hip-to-hip in endgame, whilst also themselves picking up some refreshes and eliminations. Gonna be so crucial, that forecast tower fight, though, because that's like 2 Titan teams, 2 big names that already have a little bit of history that are going head-to-head. I mean, that's really where we're going to be focusing in on.
I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of people that can pinpoint the exact moment, but I just remember Peterbot chasing Clix into the water very far, and that might have been where really the big rivalry started there. But honestly, it's because they're 2 of the best teams.
That's why they got.
Both in North
That's why
America, they want to
PM Polo got banned from Scrim.
So why wouldn't there be a rivalry?
That's right, and I mean, you got to think and be excited for Clix and Veno, right? You heard the audience here absolutely cheering their name, and the fact that, you know, Veno recently got picked up by Exit. This is a big weekend for the duo.
Yeah, bro.
Can you maybe tap into maybe what they're feeling? How are these guys looking?
Because Veno's the best.
Clix and Veno, how they're feeling right now.
Veno
I think,
the best,
obviously being contested kind of last
if
minute
they don't,
might be a little bit
nerve-wracking,
but
top
again, this is Veno, who is one of the most experienced players in the world. He got 2nd place at the Invitational. He's a multi-FNCS
top 5
winner. If anyone can handle pressure, it's him.
And Clix hasn't won an FNCS yet. I know a lot of people in this building, particularly a crowd over there, they were screaming his name. They wanted to see him. I think they'll be vying for him to get his first FNCS title. He will as well. And I think, to be honest, there's no better partner than Veno to take him to to that crown because Veno has won it all. He's done so well in online FNCSs at the Invitational. He had a really, really good tournament, of course, as well, all the way down to the last game. He is just a serial winner, right, Veno? He knows what he's doing. And as long as Clix can play well, as long as Veno can lead well, I'm expecting big things from these guys.
And you're talking about the face-off there. I mean, Peterbot has ridiculous aim, but there was a Bloom battle that happened in the most recent Cash Cup with Veno and Peterbot, and Veno came out on top.
Interesting, interesting. Well, guess what, Fortnite fans? We actually have Adam Savage, who is standing by with Clix and Peterbot.
I really am right now next to Peterbot and Clix, as you can see. Fellas, just for a second, put down the pickaxes. Just relax for a second, okay? This rivalry, just chill. We've got two great competitors here, eager to get out there on the main stage.
He's pale.
Clix, come to you first, dude. It's been a road to get here. You know, you're looking strong. How are you feeling going into this global championships? Everyone out there screaming your name. This must feel like $1 million.
Just trying to be a
it definitely feels good. Unfortunately, we are contested. We figured that out 2 days ago, but we can make the most out of it and see where it goes.
Do you have to train strategy right there in the moment as well? Have you got kind of things planned how you're going to do that quickly on the fly?
Yeah, I mean, when you play with someone like Veno, you don't need to worry about any of that stuff. He's the brain of the duo, so he knows what we're doing.
Okay, and Peterbot as well. I mean, you guys have come into this back-to-back, major champions. You and Poyo have been dominant. I mean, he's smiling at Clix. I can see this as well. I can feel it. You must feel amazing going into this as well. I mean, you guys, eliminations, you guys are strong going into this. How do you feel?
Feel good, and I'm confident, and I think we're going to win.
The raft is looking busy. There's a lot of duos going into the same spot. Is that a good thing for you guys in terms of surge and things? You kind of eager to have that happen and prove right off the bounce that you guys are ready to contend for that title?
Yeah, I mean, like, the 14s won't really be an issue for us because, I think we are going to be chilling on our side of raft and get the Mythic AUG every game. And we'll be seeing Clix at Forecast.
Will you be going to Forecast? That's the big question. Is that what's going to happen? Clix, what can you give us in terms of insight from you guys?
I mean, he's going to die off spawn, so there's only going to be one team at Forecast. That's me, us, so,
And I want to ask you guys as well.
I think you're Triple Con, brother, so I don't know if you're going to make it off spawn as well.
I want to ask you guys as well, fighting talk prior to going into this. I'm going to ask you both, keep it clean, obviously. Going into this, what do you want to say to Clix first, Peter? Anything you want to say to this competitor across the way?
I mean, there's nothing to say. He knows who I am, and he knows he's going to lose off spawn. And if he does make it off spawn, then we'll be at the Forecast ready.
Okay, Clix, coming to you as well. Anything you want to say to this fine chap here on the right-hand side?
I mean, he's new to this game. He's only been playing for, what, 2 years? OG like me, 6 years in, competing in almost every tournament. You already know how it's going to be. Don't even say it. Don't even say it.
The FNCS wins, and you have 0, and you've been playing for an extra couple years.
I mean, Clix, what are you going to say to that?
When you're at the top, stuff happens that you don't want to happen, like shooting out a vending.
I've got one last thing as well before going back to the desk. Okay, is it true? Can you confirm right now that next year we're going to see Clix and Peterbot teaming up side by side?
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's the new duo.
That's the new duo. That's out.
And we'll see it. 15K a month. I'm down.
You heard it right there. The exclusive together. Peterbot and Clix. We're gonna
do they better, bro? If they do, they're gonna win.
Thank you, Adam, for asking the question we all had on our minds. Thank you so much from that. Yeah, you can already tell this rivalry is building, and we kind of talked about Clix and Veno. Let's talk about the other side, right? Peterbot and Poyo. These guys have just had a phenomenal year.
Starting it off, getting a 2nd place in Major 1, and then 1st place in Major 2, and then the back-to-back 1st place in Major 3.
Absolutely incredible. They were the first NA team to do that since Booga at late Chapter 2, early Chapter 3, right? So they are doing things that we haven't seen for a very, very long time. And I mean, the way that they're doing it as well, each and every season, they seem to put themselves in the best drop spot on the map. We want the best medallion, we want the best weapons as well. I mean, look at that, Major number 2, they had the Dash medallion, Major number 3, they had the Shield medallion, by far the best medallion on the map. Now, again today, landing at the raft, they are triple, maybe double contested by a couple of other teams. And this medallion, the reveal medallion, is so good. It just reveals all players around you.
And for a team
that's elimination heavy like these guys, W keying the lobby, it's going to be so vital for them if they can make it on spawn. That's a big if.
And he wasn't being cocky or arrogant in that moment. Literally everyone else that's landing on the raft is landing on the opposite side. Peter and Poyo do have that south side by themselves.
He got Cypher PK fingers 2.0
and then they immediately, within 90 seconds, rotate to the launch pad and go for that Forecast tower. power. And also, to say that they won Major 2, the Season 2 run that they had, is putting it lightly. They literally won every single Cash Cup final, as well as one of those Cash Cups getting 6 out of 6 victory royales. It has never been done before, and we may never see it again.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are absolutely incredible. I'm expecting big things from them. They condition the lobby a lot as well in that sort of Major 2, Major 3. That's what they do. They don't like anyone fighting them because nobody likes to fight them. They're not a team that is going to be fighting everyone because they don't want to come to them. They have to go and search for those fights. And that's why I think that reveal medallion is going to be so beneficial for them, because they can just find anyone lurking in different situations. They're not going to get snuck up on. It's playing into their hands right now if they can make it off spawn, which it seems like they have a solid strategy so far, and clearly a lot of confidence as well.
And we're talking about Peterbot a lot, but Poyo also deserves so much praise.
100%.
A lot of the times we think, oh, Peterbot's the fragger, but we'll see Poyo with more eliminations, more times than not. He works so well with Peterbot. Just like you were saying, Clix is the perfect support with Veno. It's the same thing with Poyo to Peterbot.
You love that breakdown. Now, we've talked about a few duels. Let's bring back up that lobby list. Let's take a look at the next 25 duels we'll be seeing compete here on this weekend. Once again, reminder, 6 regions. We went through 3 different majors, and these are the very best 50 duos in the world. Now, obviously, we've had a few talks. Why don't we talk about Asia, right? Jerome. We've got him paired up with Zago, and these guys are, like, amazing. And, of course, Zago coming out with already LAN experience. What can we expect for them?
Yeah, I mean, Jerome and Zago win that first major over in Asia. And when you think of Jerome, you've got to remember Global Championships last year. Frequently, we talk about the smaller regions now performing well on LAN. Well, that was not the case for Jerome and NK Papa. They got 5th place, beating out some of the biggest teams from NA and EU.
Yeah, that was really, really impressive. And I mean, Zago himself, he's the only player in Asia to have made the Invitational and last year's Globals. And of course, now he's here today as well. He's a very interesting player to watch because he's always coming up with new strategies, with items and things that other players aren't doing. He's always doing something a little bit different with the items. So he's always a great player to watch. Very big brain player as well. He's going to be leading this duo. Jerome's going to be carrying those the more frags, the eliminations. I mean, both of them will be doing that well themselves, but I think this is a duo we've got to keep our eyes on because they have so much talent.
That's right. Okay, let's go on over to Brazil. I don't know if you guys ever heard of King and Phaser. Not a big deal. They're pretty small duo over here, but you know, these guys are just so fantastic. What do we expect these guys to bring to this stage?
I mean, King, we remember him all the way back from World Cup, and they have so much confidence, really well deserved. And then they tried to take that confidence over to EU. Unfortunately, didn't place that well in Major 1, but then went back into Brazil for Major 2, and then Major 1 reclaiming their spot as the kings of Brazil.
Yeah, and in that Major 1 in EU, they didn't do the greatest in Grand Finals, but they made it there, and that was the most important thing for them, getting that extra practice. I think they would have liked to have done a little bit better when it came to the Grand Finals. They seemed to switch drops a lot. They relied a lot on solo clutches during that time as well, so hopefully they would have learned from that, bringing that experience to the table. And I mean, this is a duo now that I think could be last minute contested by another team, so it's not something that they were expecting. They're going to have to adapt on the fly.
And if we're talking about solo clutches, we have to talk about what we saw King absolutely doing in the player lounge over the last few days. 1v1ing some of the biggest names of Veno, Flixi, Peterbot, and winning every single one.
They're looking good, right? They are looking good. And we are drawing closer and closer to starting these games. We wanted to talk about another duo, though. Contested situation, Grand Glacier. We've got Nathan, we've got CZB on one side. On the other side, Herman and Cal Gamer. Being contested, is this POI, is this spot big enough to split? Are we going to see a fight break out? What do you guys think?
I definitely think we're going to be seeing some frustrating fights going on. Grand Glacier isn't necessarily the best place to fight off spawn, but when you have someone like Haman and Cal Gamer, the aura that they bring to the competition, and that aura is well deserved because in the last 5 majors, they have won 4 of them. And that one that they didn't win, it was 2nd place.
2nd place. It's just, yeah, it's crazy what they're able to do over there in Middle East. These guys are literally the kings of Middle East. Cal Gamer's the aura king of Middle East as well. He seems to just claim the drop spot. Nobody wants to contest him. But over here now, Grand Glacier, CZB, and Nathan, they've been landing here the entire chapter. They've been doing very well from there as well. And their results, their improvement has been noticeable all the way through to Major 3, where, of course, they qualified here today. I think that experience is going to be really, really useful for them. Cal Gamer hasn't really had that much experience here at Grand Glacier, so I don't think he's going to be as prepared for this off-spawn fight. But again, CZB and Nathan, they're not necessarily used to being contested at this drop spot. So although they know it very well, they know the ins and out, which we've seen be very, very vital in previous LANs in the past, I think they might be struggling in some of these aspects because the fight can drag out for a very, very long time.
Although we have seen CZB and Nathan actually take down Vico and Flixi during the most recent major, and they're really great fighters when everything does go in their favor. But Come On and Cal Gamer have the out of the top 5, they share 2 spots of the most eliminations out of the entire season of this FNCS. So incredible fighters in their own right as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to drill a point home here.
Have 30 minutes
this is 6 regions, the very best of those regions, all coming together on a single stage. I mean, how do we manage, right? I'm like, hey, I play in NA, I'm used to NA, and then suddenly I've got a BR team, an EU team, an OCE team. How do we manage that?
Practice, scrim, VOD review, doing anything you can to prepare, as this is the first time that all of these players are in the same room together. They have had a few days to get those scrims in, but even then, we know that some of these teams are holding some strategies back.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they had some practice scrims, they were doing some practice games. I was speaking to Vico, I was like, oh, do these actually reflect what you guys are going to be doing? Is anyone actually doing it properly? They're like, no. Nobody's playing it as they're going to play it. They're keeping all the strats under wraps, making sure that nobody knows what they're going to do. So it always brings a little bit of excitement, particularly on day number 1, because this is where all the prep work that they've done for the last 2 months really pays off.
And I love that you bring up Vico, right? Vico and Flixie. I think for a lot of people, they are probably the favorites to win it all, right? To bring home this title of FNCS Global Champions. What have you guys been able to kind of like glean from just hanging out with them this weekend, kind of watching their play?
I mean, going from Major 3, getting that first place spot right there, and that was the first time that we saw them paired up as a duo this season. And they didn't take a single tick of storm damage. That just showcases how prepared they are. And a lot of that to do is with where they're landing in Reckless Railways. They do like to go for that forecast tower, of course. So knowing exactly where the zone is going to pull definitely helps you not take any storm surge.
Yeah, and if you know about Peterbot and Polio, you'll know a lot about this team in terms of the way that they like to fight, right? This is a very, very elimination-heavy duo. Vico had the most low-ground eliminations of anyone in any region in the entire chapter, so very, very elimination-heavy in the end game. And of course, even going for that forecast tower, nobody wanted to fight them for in Major number 3. They had that forecast tower for themselves in pretty much every game, except for the time when it didn't spawn. When it didn't spawn, they literally just went to the next door forecast tower, bought the team off there and said, we're having this one as well. But I don't think it's going to be that easy for them this time. Bryson Bolt are there.
That is right. Bryson Bolt over in NA East, or NA Central, I should be saying. They were able to take that away from Reet and Ritual, who were originally landing over in Reckless Railways. And Reet and Ritual, who have been landing there all year, were like, nope, we're not going to go up against Vico and Flixie. We're going to move our drop spot. But Bryson Bolt's a relatively underrated team. We keep saying that they're kind of the underdogs, but honestly, they have had a great, consistent year this year. And going for that forecast tower, they're definitely going to make Vico and Flixie work for it.
And that's scary, right? We kind of talk about these contested situations, those forecasts we heard from Venom and Clix. Now we're talking about these guys. How many duos are going to look to just claim this? This is so vital to some duos' playstyle.
Because of who is going for those forecast towers, I honestly don't think too many people are going to be fighting for them.
I mean, it's worth it, though. If you're a team that is maybe not doing so good after day number 1, day number 2, you can clutch up with that. As I mentioned earlier, it's a no mobility meta. People don't have mobility. Maybe you have the underworld dashes, but the whole lobby doesn't have them. So being able to know where those zones are in advance allows you to position yourself in a good position, especially when you have that early storm surge damage. So that's the reason why all of these top teams are really going for these forecast towers and making it a key element of their strategy, because if you have it, you literally have an advantage over 90% of the lobby.
Also, Vico and Flixie, although there might be players going for that forecast tower, in the early game, they don't really go for the eliminations. They're just going to go for the tag, so they'll never put themselves too much at risk of getting eliminated.
Interesting, interesting. I love hearing what you guys have to say for it. I also want to hear from Flixie and Vico themselves. Adam Savage is standing by. What do they got to say?
Yeah, thank you, mate. Obviously, we're not going to see Clix and Peterbot together, but one team we definitely will out there is Vico and Flixie, your Major 3 winners. Vico, coming to you first. I mean, we're here at Global Championships. Everyone is ready to rock. You can see all the players lined up now, ready to go on the stage and compete. You give an air of confidence. We chatted about this yesterday. You guys seem like you're in a really good place together as a partnership. What's the forecast tower strat? Can you reveal anything to us?
I really can't, you know. Got to keep some stuff hidden, otherwise I'm not going to get the forecast, you know.
I get it completely. Bryson Bolts are right there on your tails as well, playing for that forecast tower. Flixie, how do you go about business? I mean, how have you kind of predetermined how you're going to manage the 12 games you've got coming up?
I think we're just going to go for forecast, all the games it spawns, and the other games. We have some secret strats we cooked up, and we need to keep that hidden till it starts.
Okay, I mean, obviously eliminations is a big factor for you guys. You are ruthless out there. Is that a big name of the game this weekend? Obviously, we see the kind of the points, the 1.5 tomorrow. Is eliminations a big factor here, and how you manage the likes of Storm Surge too?
I think eliminations is going to be a big factor of us. I think you're going to see a lot of eliminations with us, so yeah.
You see this confidence? They got this confidence here. I mean, I can feel it, Flixie as well. Tell me what it's like playing with Vico, how you guys kind of enjoy working together, the journey to get here as well to this competition. What's it been like these last kind of few months? Have you really enjoyed working together? And what were all the strengths you like about Vico too?
Vico is just the best fighter in the world, probably. He just does everything. I just need to IGL and think, and he does the rest.
You've also obviously, Reckless Railways currently uncontested. How does that kind of give you guys the advantage as well versus being contested? I mean, how do you kind of go about proceedings when you've got all that space to you, your POI is just for you right now?
I mean, we have all the freedom in the world. We can do whatever we want, you know, not have to worry about people like contesting us or like having to worry about how fast we gotta be, you know. We can just take our time, do whatever we want, and just like, as long as we get searched and everything, I think we're gonna do good.
And obviously on the elimination feed as well, we'll see which players you guys managed to eliminate in the competition. Does that add a bit of kind of excitement as to proceedings as well, to see exactly who around you managed to eliminate prior to getting to that end game?
Yeah, I feel like that Anonymous is off is like a pretty big factor because you can see who dies, you know where everyone's landing, you can just do really good moves because of that. I think it's a really big factor.
Well, we're all very excited about what Vico and Flixi are going to do on the map itself here. Can they go all the way? 12 games will tell. It's back to you guys. We're very excited over here.
Thank you so much, Adam. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you guys have been following Fortnite, you know Vico, I mean, he's won a LAN, so he's got experience. He's got it paired up with Flixi. I mean, I love that Flixi kind of brings up this point of, like, if you eliminate, you kind of know where everyone's dropping. So, hey, we've eliminated Zeke. He lands over here. Now we know we can kind of operate in this area, right? Like, those little bits of information really go a long way.
Yeah, and not only did he win a LAN, he won a solo LAN, so it showcases that even if he does have Flixi go down, he's going to be able to keep going strong. And Flixi, an absolutely incredible IGL that can frag as well. This duo, there's a reason why they're one of the favorites to win.
Yeah, both players sort of previous to their FNCS win had always been sort of like up and coming. It was about time for them to win an FNCS. I feel like it was right that they were just about to win FNCS there in Major number 3, and they absolutely popped off with it as well. Even just speaking to Vico's mum, who follows him around all these events, Mama Vico, big shout out to her. I said, are you nervous? She's like, nah, I've done this, I've been around. She follows him around to all the events, his biggest fan. And I love to see that. I love to get to speak to all the players and of course the parents that are here as well. I think it just brings a whole new vibe to the arena as well. The difference between doing that and online as well.
I feel like there's also got to be like a little bit of trash talk, right? Like, you think that like the parent, like, you know, just think about like a situation, right? You got Peterbot, you got Clix, they're kind of going head to head, and the folks are just like, hey, it's great to see you. How have you been? Like, we're here together hanging out again. They're just like, dude, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna contest you. I'm gonna forecast is mine. They're like, hey, do you want to just grab like food later? We can hang out, you know? Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. I wanted to highlight here really quickly experience, right? We talked a little bit about that LAN experience. Last year's Globals wraps up. Trulex, Chicho, they end 3rd, and now they're looking to bring that experience back to the Globals stage. However, an interesting year for the duo, Mini Miner.
Yeah, very interesting year indeed. I think it was a little bit of a shock to see this team not make grand finals in Major number 1. This is one of the most experienced teams on EU, one of the best teams at playing those consistent end games, playing those med kits all the way to the end, and making sure that they can squeeze every last placement out of the game. To see them not make grand finals in Major 1 was a big shock. They did come back, had a good performance in Major number 2, solid performance in Major number 3, which eventually qualified them here. Yeah. I'm intrigued though, I'm intrigued. They didn't have a very good off-spawn situation. I believe it was Major number 2. They actually lost 3-0 to a team that was a little bit less experienced than those guys. So I think the sort of off-spawn aura of Trulex has kind of gone down a little bit. So I'm concerned for them with their split drop towards the sort of north side of the map, whether they might get contested there.
Yeah, if you look at the teams that are landing there over on that Estate Station split, you have King and Phaser, Bugha and Aviv, Vico and Flixi. Yep. And that's just the teams that are right around them, not even just a level about them. It is absolutely scary. But again, I mean, they got 3rd place in the last Globals. They understand what the meta is for these LAN tournaments because it's so different. Really, these tournaments evolve a meta inside of themselves as the days go on.
Interesting stuff. You know, a little northwest from these guys, we're looking at Doomstat, right? Hey, shout out to you, Marvel. We love you. There is quite the battle here going on. Just one of Kelly's favorite duos ever, Re and Ritual. They're going up against Epic Whale and Muzz. This is not what I want to see, right? Because I want to see both these duos make it off spawn. So do we think there's going to be a fight here? Can they split it? What can we expect?
They can definitely split this job right here, and that's what we're expecting to see right now. And when day 2 comes and maybe one of these teams is a little bit lower, maybe they're going to be changing up their strategy. But for day 1, we expect them to be splitting it. I mean, Reet and Ritual really leaving themselves from Reckless Railways to come over here and Doomstat, going up against Epic Whale and Muzz. I mean, the accolades that duo has, of course, Epic Whale, the back-to-back-to-back-to-back winner between chapters 2 and 3, and then Muzz, the first player to ever win an FNCS in 2 different regions. There is a reason that there is a lot of respect on this duo.
Yeah, this off-spawn situation is going to be really interesting. There's enough loot there to split, so I can see why they're doing it. And there's, of course, that NPC there as well that you can get the medallion, you can get the shotgun from as well.
Right.
And I was speaking to Mars, I was like, oh, you're going to be going for that NPC? He's like, I'm not actually too sure what's going to be happening off spawn there. He doesn't really like the shotgun, so I think he's been giving that to Epic Whale. I don't think they're a massive fan of the medallion that drops there, so I think they're going to be leaving that. It'd be interesting to see whether the dynamics off spawn do change, though, as the weekend goes on. If Mars and Epic Whale aren't maybe doing so well, or Reet and Ritual aren't doing so well, maybe they decide to try and contest and try and claim the entire drop spot, which we have seen teams do. So this split drop could work for day number 1, but it could all go out the window in day 2.
But speaking of Reet and Ritual, we got to talk a little bit about Ritual and his performance at EWC. Not just winning the competition, but also winning MVP. And joined by Reet, who has been one of the best fraggers since starting the competition back in Chapter 2. Absolutely insane what he can do when he W keys. So to see them together, I'm so excited to have them be on top for this day.
Yeah, you got it. You got excited. We are excited. We just got word. Players are ready to enter the arena. Dickies Arena, let's welcome in our players.
It's Alex, it's Worthy, and they're putting OCE on the map. With several FNCS titles in the bag already, now they want that FNCS trophy.
Let's give it up for Andalex and Sato. The French pride is here. And with the ultimate clutch story coming out of Major 2, they're looking to keep the momentum going for the next couple of days.
Everybody make some noise for Baka and Pars. Coming in hot from Major 3, and now they're ready to challenge the competition because it's a shot at the big prize.
Casper and Prism have arrived. These two might be new to the LAN setting, but watch out, because they're not here to play around. Now, it's time to prove yourself.
Walking in now, you've got Job and Michael, your Asia Major 2 champions, and they've secured their presence with us this weekend, but can they go all the way?
Hold on, we have CCB and Nathan. This British duo has been consistent all throughout of 2024, and now they're looking to finish this year out strong.
Double team, it's Trashy and Threats. It's a
Trashy
fight for the trophy in front of the home turf crowd, and they're ready to give it their all.
All right, coming in hot is Scroll and Sky. This talented young Danish duo has made it all the way to the biggest stage in the world, and now we have to make some room.
Oh wait, yo,
a big welcome to Kadu and Sion, all the way from Brazil. These Major 1 champions are here to take it to the next level.
It's none other than Booga and David. These players have proven themselves time and time again. However, this weekend it will have to be on the global stage.
Booga.
Our first 10 duos take the stage. The crowd went wild. I wanted to highlight 2 duos in particular here. Starting off, Alex and Worthy.
Yeah.
We love these guys. Anytime we've run into them in the venue, they've been excited to see us. We've been excited to see them. What can we expect from these guys?
I mean, I love these guys. So wholesome, so great to talk to. Always give you a little bit of insight, what they're thinking, how they're feeling going into the competition. I hope that they're going to do well, right? Of course, they did move to NA for that major number 3, get a little bit of extra practice after winning major number 1 to qualify them here. They made it to the grand finals, which is really, really great. They got that extra practice. They went all the way. In that grand finals, they had a mostly uncontested restored reels, and they didn't have a great performance. They placed 38th. I'm sure they would have wanted to do better, but because now that they've had that experience of landing there, Kelly, I hope they can use that when they're contested by Malibu from a stats today.
Although Malibu and Mustache are a very scary team to go up against while contested,
I love
but
that
Alex
little
and Worthy
paper
have
fade
such
that
a great
Alex is
history, getting
running
first
right
place
now,
in Major
chat.
1, second place in Major 2, and when you look at Alex's past, he has accolades in every single game mode that we've had for. He won solos in DreamHack Melbourne, he's won trios for the Grand Royale, and then of course winning duos this season as well. And of course, Worthy has had 5 second place finishes, both of them multiple FNCS winners. They have the experience and they're ready to go.
That's right. You talk about accolades. You know we can't not mention Bugha and Aviv, a very well-decorated player, but there's just one title he's missing.
I mean, he is the world champ,
Aviv's
but
gotta
is
be
he
part
the
of
global champ?
Dignitas,
I
chat.
guess technically
He
not,
has to,
but
bro.
what he
Aviv's
is
a free
is one of the
agent.
longest standing top competitors that we have ever seen, not only winning World Cup all the way back in 2019, but going to the back-to-back FNCS champs between chapters 2 and 3.
I mean, the word I love to use to describe Bugha is longevity. He's done it for so long. He's been at the top of his game for so long. He's won it all. Solos, duos, trios, he has done it. But as you mentioned, Zeke, yet to win a global championship. And I think this is going to be a really good chance for them to do
But
so.
he's won the
Landing
World
at
Cup,
Doom's
so that
Courtyard,
counts.
so much loot there as well. Even a little bit of an opportunity for them to rotate out of that courtyard area to get a little bit of those Storm Surge tags towards the castle. So interested to see what they can do this weekend.
That's right. Well, that was a look at our first 10. Let's bring in the next 10.
Yeah. Chat, who is it? Bro, look at that car right there, bro. Chat, that car looks nice.
Say hello to Epic World and Buzz.
Let's
This
go.
is what true champions
Epic
look
and
like.
Buzz.
But winning LAN is next on the to-do list. Can they secure it?
Let's give it up for Chap and Teeny, one of the newer
Teeny,
powerhouse
let's
duos
go.
coming out of EU, who have proven to be so consistent this entire year.
Let's rise. It's Yuma.
Rise.
Top players of the Asia region now here on
Oh,
the
that's a-
global stage and ready to prove to the world that they're also top players in this lobby.
Oh, there's another ride.
Ping and Walks, ladies and gentlemen, now looking to walk into battle with their heads high, and they're fully focused. They aren't here to let anyone down. Let's see how far they can go now.
think Rise 1's red has Rise 2's
From the land down under to Nath and
one
Tuka. OCE is in the
from
building,
Japan,
everybody,
or
and
whatever.
winning Major 2 was just the warm-up run.
It's none other than Quanti and Cone. The best of both worlds coming together now from Brazil and NA. And now they're ready to test their true strength. Let's send them some energy.
Quanti's actually so good.
Bienvenido, Clone and Kramsu. The KPI boys moved to the Middle East for Major 3, but
I
they
wish I
didn't
was
just
there,
take
bro.
part, they
Now it's
took
just
over.
IRL streaming it. That would be so good.
It's double trouble. We got Reet and Ritual. One of our favorites are now officially in the building, and they are here to see what they can do on the global stage.
Sad.
Straight out of Germany, it's Reason and Badil. The big stage is not a problem for these two, as they are the definition of confidence.
Batman, Bugha, and Rapid are in the building.
Yeah.
What a year these guys have had. And now they're
They
trying
got
to see
zero
if they can
ping
finish it
now.
off in style. These are definitely one of the teams that can go all the way. That was just our first 20 duos, man. We still have 30 more to go.
Oh
Let's
my
take a moment
God,
here.
Jack.
Zeke, breathe. Okay. I wanted to highlight a duo here for you. Chap and Teeny. Little fun fact here. This is Chap's first time on LAN. And to go like, first time LAN. Oh, global championship. The biggest stage possible in Fortnite. Yeah, let's go.
A lot of people are excited to watch this duo play. I mean, even just disregarding how they have performed over the last 2 chapters, having that teeny strat in his back pocket, especially with what we've been seeing going down over the west side of Underworld, where they're kind of contested, getting dropped on. I think a teeny strat might be coming out over the next 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it.
Yeah,
Zeke,
Chat, my
Chap's
ears-
first
my
global
ears
championships.
actually
It was also
oiled.
his first grand finals only in Major 2 of this year. That major they placed second. Major number 3 also qualified. They also also placed second, so it seems like Chap is just immune to any pressure. And here today, I'm interested to see what are they going to do. You know, is Chap able to handle the pressure? He's done very well at that so far. And as you mentioned, Kelly, the big question mark, where are these guys going to land?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. They could land a different spot every single game. We haven't, we have seen that before. It's not something we're strangers to, but I think for Teeny and Chap, they're going to be looking at maybe what they know best, maybe drop spots they've landed at before. That's why I think Cooper might be a little bit concerned that they might be landing over towards that Nitro ground.
Terrifying stuff. And as we go from one Bugha, we must talk about the other, Batman Bugha specifically, and Rapid. I mean, they just had an unbelievable performance in Major 3.
I mean, going all the way back to Global Championships last year, where they have only played together for one major, and then going into their Globals for the first time on LAN and getting 14th place really put a lot of eyes on them. Now, the start of this year, not the best, but the evolution that we have seen, Mini, is just incredible. These are two of my favorite players competing here today.
Yeah, I mean, when they came 14 in the Globals, they were even triple contested as well, so it just adds to the skill and the ability of these guys. I mean, they're absolutely incredible. They actually moved from sort of high ping at the beginning of the year to low ping to 0 ping, and it's worked wonders for them. They've been able to get unleashed all of their talent. That is just going crazy right now. I'm interested to see what they're going to do off spawn. Of course, landing at Grimgate, they have all of those dashes there as well. Interested to see if they can use those in the end game, maybe save them a little bit. Are they contested? Are they not? We're not too sure. It says uncontested right now, but of course things can change.
Yeah, I was chatting with them just a little bit, and they think that there might be an OCE team potentially landing on them, but again, that drop map can only tell us so much. It's really the first game where we'll find out.
And what do they have to do, right? If that does happen, you know, they're going in with a strategy where we're uncontested. Suddenly, there's another duo here. What do we do?
I mean, it's Batman Bugha and Rapid. They're going to be able to handle it so well. They already did really well being contested at the Globals last year. They are incredible duos. And honestly, regardless of what situation they're in, they always come out on top. And watching them on the end game where they typically stick to the low and middle ground, but they're so observant. They're able to tell when the high ground is theirs to take. They are so strong. It almost looked like they could potentially win in Major 3, getting second place. But of course, when Peter Von Pollo is there, it's hard to really break through those guys.
Yeah, really hard. I mean, even in that Major number 3, they placed second. They only played 11 games in that Major, which just makes it even more impressive. These guys are so good.
That's right. Fortnite fam, I think you guys want to meet some more players, right? So make some noise for the next 10 duos.
That car goes hard.
Let's hear it for Swizzy and Yapko. Coming together for this event, this duo is on a mission to impress the world. They've got the skill, but can they make it happen?
Here comes the pride of Middle East, Adapter and FKS, some of the most dominant ME duels of all time. And it's actually not their first LAN, but it might just be their first trophy.
It's Trulex and Chicho making their return to the global stage, only this time they are in it to win it. Last year they placed third, and now it's time for first.
Let's give it up for Kay Shoro and Keiki. The Brazilian stars are coming onto the global stage for their first time in their careers, and it's time to lock in for real now.
Yo, let's go, W
Big
hat.
welcome to Chiefs and Chris coming together for this event, but these guys mean business. Both have proven themselves worthy, but now it counts for real.
Put your hands together for Huddy and Kovacs. Everyone loves a good underdog story, and these guys have shown up on the last EU Major. The real question is, can they find that momentum?
Coming in hot, it's going to be Dukes and Spinks. Championship material right here, but this weekend is not going to be easy for anybody.
Bro, Dukes is a midget, bro.
All the way
Do you guys
from
see
Japan,
how
it's Bobby and
small
Larpex. This duo has managed to pull together so many top placements, and now they are here to lock it in for the region.
He's like 4'11".
Aspect and Kazi, ladies and gentlemen, because FNCS Champions is a title that's already been secured. So next in line, gotta be for Global.
It's your boys, April and Cold! Some of the absolute best to ever do it from the NA region, and now they are looking to get a trophy
gotta be
of their
signed
own.
to Dignitas or Extra. Like, there's no way. Like, people are going to sign some of those things on my TV stream.
You feel that cold front in the arena suddenly? I mean, come on, man. That's the first 30, and we just started, right? We just said like, hey, launch that battle bus, let's get in the game. I'd be like, yeah, no, this is a Global Championship lobby. There's still 20 duos to discuss. Really quick though,
Yeah.
Acorn and Cold, I mean, these guys are just so crazy consistent.
I mean, it hasn't just been a good year for them. It's been a good 2 years for them. They have not placed below 6 over the last 6 majors. In the Global Championships last year, they claimed 7th place.
Yeah, and that was even while splitting a drop spot in the middle of the map there as well. So that just makes things even more impressive. That's actually quite reflective of what their off-spawn situation is today. Landing down there at Brutal Beachhead with Andalex and Sato. It's going to be interesting how the off-spawn battle goes. I feel like Andalex and Sato might dip out in some of the games. They might try and split the drop. I don't think Acorn and Cole want that. They want to try and claim as much of that loot as possible.
Earplugs
I think because
and
Cole
a headset
is just
over
so
the
good,
earplugs.
even if they don't get that much loot in mid-game, Acorn could just go like, oh, Cole, just go over there, eliminate those guys, get me that loot, and we can act like the off-spawn didn't even happen. So I think that's going to be a key element to their success.
Yeah, there's a reason that people say that Cold is one of the best players in the world, and by winning the Global Championship today, he would solidify that spot.
Wrong
Joined by
image,
Acorn,
chat.
who's one of the best IGLs in the world. This duo is here. They want to do better than last year. They don't want that 7th place. They want that trophy.
That's right. Now on the topic of consistency, let's bounce back on over to OCE, Aspect, and Kazi as well. Representation. These guys are looking to kick off the competition with a bang.
2nd, 3rd, and 1st over the last 3 majors, respectively. One of the most consistent duos that we have seen all year. And of course, their drop spot is a bit of a question mark.
Yeah, but what's really impressive about those 3 majors is they landed at a different drop spot in every single one of them. So you mentioned 2nd, 3rd, 1st. They did that from a different drop spot every single time. Now this weekend, they've marked the raft, right? I don't know if they're going to be landing there. So many people have asked questions. Are they really going to be landing there? Nobody really knows where exactly they're going to be landing. It's a bit of an enigma at the moment. We don't know. But I think this is a team that can cope under the pressure of a new drop spot. We've seen it throughout this whole year, and they've been by far the dominant team on OCE. So let's see if they can bring this here.
If you had to pick a spot, where do you think they might go? Are we just saying like if it was Raft's like pretty safe?
They have
like we might have somewhere else.
7 minutes left
I
until
think,
first
due
game.
to some rumors, that they might be landing over in Grim Gate, a very powerful POI that is currently uncontested by Batman Booga and Rapid. But the raft is huge. It has a lot of loot. There is a possibility of splitting it. Maybe, maybe not.
I mean, we'll see. I think if I was them, it would be looking at teams that maybe haven't performed that well off spawn this year, trying to land on them, taking advantage of that. One of those teams, Kami and Seti, haven't had the best year off spawn at that Kami split area. Currently, they are uncontested as well, so maybe that could be an avenue that they could discuss or explore. So I'm interested to see what happens there. Maybe they could do a whole team thing as well and just land all over the map in different games. Who knows?
Guys, gotta be hyped right now. I'm also hyped, though, to bring in our next 10 duos. Bring him out.
Everybody watch out
Squeezy
because
and
it's
Thomas
Squeezy and Thomas HD. Some of the best to ever touch the game, but they lack a trophy in the collection, so now's their chance to change that.
Put your hands together for Kyoto and Exnipoli. They have been one of the most consistent duos coming out of the Asian region this year, and now they're looking to bring that energy to this stage.
Big welcome to Shadow and Virgo, ready to put their abilities to the test this weekend, because these guys are not here to go home empty-handed.
It's Gears and Shari, everyone, just making it across the line in Major 3. Now they're here to lock it in and make up for that, because they will be hungry for the victory and the trophy.
Visuals and Braves in the house. Last minute magic, and that's what I'm talking about. Short time to adjust, but diamonds are made under pressure.
And here's Agers and Rise. Experience is often a key in these types of events, and these guys do not lack it at all. They have to put in work this weekend to see how far it can take them.
Agers, the control player, Rise.
Give it up for Janice and Pixie. This is what you get from mixing experience and talent. Coming together for Major 3 paid off big time, and now they're prepared to take it all the way.
Coming in hot is Ed and Persa, always on top of the leaderboards in Brazil, and now they even took that championship at Major 2. Can they get another?
OCE, it's Damo and Resigns. Top of OC is 1 feat of strength, but now it's time to take it to the next level. Globals is a different beast.
It's Peter Body! Make some noise! Chapter 5 has been theirs with back-to-back championships. Now they're looking to keep that streak continuing.
Bro, he only 3 years back, bro.
Man, I don't know how much more my heart can take. We've got another 10 duos here, but let's take a moment to talk about these 10 that came out. We wanted to highlight Asia here, specifically Koyota and Mapoli. These guys are widely regarded as the best team in Asia, and now everyone else is looking to have to deal with them. How are we doing that?
I mean, we were looking at Aspect and Cassie just a few minutes ago, and literally the same placements over the 3 majors, second in Major 1, third in Major 2, and first place champion title in Major 3. And honestly, I am so excited to watch this duo. They have been competing in Fortnite for a very long time, Mapoli since 2019 Winter Royale.
Yeah, these guys have been by far the best Asia team this year. They've been so consistent. I'm interested to see what they're going to do today. They're landing at the north side of the map by that sort of island area. I think what we've seen from some of the Asia scrims as well is what we think is going to happen. They're going to land on that mainland area, try and third party that Rebels Roost fight, get some early Storm Surge damage, and then play the game out as they like to. And the way that they like to is very low ground heavy, very consistent, not crazy amount of eliminations in mid game, but in end game, that's where they thrive. So I'm expecting lots of consistency from these guys. I'm expecting lots of end games.
Okay. What's this? I got my notes here. It just says Queasy, Thomas, HD. They're pretty good. They're pretty all right.
Yeah, a lot of people would say really good. I mean, Queasy getting second place in the Invitational with Venno way back when. And then, of course, Thomas HD, the best to never win a title, literally missing out on first place by 1 point.
I mean, and that was 2 years in a row as well. Major 1 this year, missed out by 1 point. Major 1 last year, another point. So it was so unfortunate for him. This could be a really good opportunity for them. They're finally uncontested. I feel like Thomas is always contested when it comes to lands, and it's really troublesome for him. But
what did they just get?
Landing at the north, the south side of the map, the sort of southeast area, that small building just to the east of the map. I'm interested to see what they can do because Thomas HD is just so good with that pistol. I was speaking to him, he was saying, yeah, we're gonna be carrying one of those pistols, and I was like, yeah, mate, I hope you're carrying that pistol because that's your job in this duo. But no, I'm really excited because these guys have all that LAN experience already. They have all the experience of playing online as well. I'm expecting big things.
Well, we've only got one thing left to do, and that is introduce the 10 remaining duos to Dickies Arena. Y'all better make some noise!
Yo, chat, let's do this.
It's time to get loud because Biko and Flixie are here. After displaying their dominance in EU Major 3, now they're ready to keep that momentum going and add a trophy to the collection.
Let's take a look at Asia's powerhouse, Zaku and Shadow. It isn't easy being on top, and consistency will be key for this duo to make their regions proud.
Bryce and Bolt are in the house. These guys are not new to the global stage, but the question now is how far can they make it together?
They are back. Malabuka and Murstache coming back together as a duo this year and taking home an FNCS championship was huge for their region.
All the way from ME, it's Cal and Haman. These guys have been at the top of their region for several seasons, so the confidence is there, but it's showtime now on the global stage.
Nope. Where's Flix and Vino?
Let's welcome Paper
and Victor V and Paper.
Winning the region's hearts in Major 3 and making it all the way to the biggest stage of the world is not a simple feat, and now it's showtime.
What was that?
It's the Kings of South America, King and Phaser. They started the year in EU, but Brazil called them home, and now they're here at the Global Championship, ready to pop off.
You know who this is. It's Kanata and Cooper. An absolutely lethal duo. We can't see what the reigning champion can do.
Cammy and Seti, your FNCS Invitational champions are in the building with a place last year. Now it's time for redemption. Second is not an option.
But wait, let's give it a
Glitz and Vito. Let's go.
This is what happens when you
Chad,
combine the
you're gonna
best
win.
of NA
You're
and EU.
actually
This is
gonna
the
win.
powerhouse team. They have one thing on their mind, and that's success. Dickies Arena, I mean, come on! This is who we'll be seeing compete! These are 50 of the best duos in
Chad,
the
why
world!
is the best?
Are you not entertained?
We are.
Let's go!
Yeah.
My gosh, to hear the crowd just lose it for these last 10 duos. One in particular stood out to me. Malibuca and Murstache, you guys went
It's not
crazy
Murstache,
for them.
Murstache.
These guys, I mean, to see them come out and to see them compete on stage. I'm worried, not for them, but for everybody else.
I mean, one of the longest lasting duos. We've seen them compete together since Chapter 2, and then they did break up for Chapter 4, but they knew that they were the duo to be together. Right. Bringing it back together in Chapter 5, and then getting that first place in Major 1.
Yeah, it's so good for these guys. They've had a really solid year overall. 1st, 6th, and 4th. I feel like it's kind of gone under the radar a little bit because they are so good. I'm expecting big things from this duo. I was speaking to Murstache as well. Of course, they're landing at that restored reels there. I said, Murstache, are you a little bit concerned about being contested? He said, actually, I feel like we're better off being contested by Worthy there at restored reels. I feel like they feel like they can finish the fight quickly. They can get those Storm Surge tags early. And then when it comes to late game, they've kind of evolved their strategy a lot compared to that Chapter 3 Malibuca and Murstache that we saw. That sort of season, that sort of chapter, they were going for loads of pre-edits. They were going for loads of eliminations in the end game. It seems like they toned that down a little bit. I mean, in fact, they're actually doing half the amount of pre-edits in end game as they were all the way back in Chapter 3. So it seems like they're playing a little bit more calmly, a little bit more carefully, but of course, if they make it off spawn, they need to make the games count.
That is kind of crazy. Something else
They
is
do
crazy.
make the games
What was it, Zeke? Invitational champions Cammy and Seti looking to make a return to this stage. I mean, if we got an invitational little title, we got a global championship title, that'd be kind of insane.
I mean, they're already regarded as the land goats.
Yep.
As you said, winning the Invitational, getting 2nd place at the Global Championships last year. And although they may not have had the best major last major, this season is looking so good for them.
Absolutely.
They love the low mobility meta. They have an incredible drop spot on the middle of the map. Everything is kind of working in their favor, Mini.
Yeah, it's a really nice meta for them.
what
It's a
are
really
the
nice
specs in the
situation for them.
PCs?
As I said earlier, as I hinted at, my only slight concern for them is if someone decides to land on them off spawn. They haven't necessarily had the best time off spawn. They had a good Major 3. It was 3rd in that, or Major 2, I should say. 3rd in that major. But in the other majors, they haven't quite had the same success. They've only won 20% of their off spawn fights in those 2 majors. So intrigued as to what's going to happen there. I don't know if they're going to get contested. We're not too sure yet. But please do not count these guys out, because when it comes to the big stage, when it comes to the bright lights, when it comes to in-person events and low mobility metas, these guys always have some great strats cooking.
First
So
game
no matter what
should
they've
have
done this
started
year,
by
throw
now,
that
bro.
out the
They're just
window. It's time.
yapping.
Their time is now.
And we've already seen them evolve over this season. We know them to be low ground kings, but over the Cash Cups, they actually won 2 victory royales from the high ground. It just shows how diverse this duo is, how prepared they are, and I'm wondering if they can do it again.
Okay, and we kind of got to look there at Seti. You can tell the nerves are starting to set in for some of these players, right? You can always say, like, yeah, I don't have nerves when I go into this, but when you have this crowd roaring, when you're under these circumstances, there's those nerves, they start to creep up. How do you guys feel like these players are doing? Some of them, obviously, they look locked in, they're ready to go. They're enjoying the crowd, but they're thinking, I've got to win.
Tournament jitters are a real thing. You'll see players that are very comfortable in their own home, playing on their own setup, and here they are in a foreign setting around a bunch of people. Nerves can definitely play a part into it, but there is so much opportunity for these duos to learn over day 1, and then with that 1.5 for day 2, they can really evolve and kind of get more comfortable with the setting that they're in.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see, because I think around 1/3 of our players competing today are actually making their first international LAN appearance. So it's going to be interesting to see how those guys do, how they handle the pressure. I mean, the camera was just on Cammy and Seti right there. They seem very chill. Seti, I thought, was asleep for a second there. Thankfully, he isn't. He's awake and ready to go, which is great. But it seems like they're very chill about the situation. They've done it before. They've won won it. They had second at the last Global Championships. They've been around the block. They know how to handle the pressure. It's all about how they can transfer that into the game. How can they use that little bit of an advantage that they have over the rest of the lobby that maybe hasn't had the same success, that maybe hasn't had the same experience as these guys, to really elevate their game and set them apart from the rest.
I wanted to circle back. You had kind of talked about the meta a little bit. Now, obviously, being back on a Marvel season, we've seen the meta shift a little bit away from just like massive Storm Surge towers, DMR shots to kind of get surge. What can viewers at home kind of expect to see with what's in game currently?
Well, with this low mobility meta, we're definitely going to be seeing some Storm Surge towers as well, because with low mobility, you can't really rotate too quickly, obviously. No. Although there is the Flaming Hoops, we still have Fizz and everything. There is opportunities for players to rotate. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of players alive towards the Zone 3, and we're probably going to see some major Storm Surge.
Yeah, I mean, these are always stacked. These in-person events, these LAN events, they are always stacked. Storm Surge is going to be so important for these teams. Getting enough damage, making sure that you're keeping on top of it early on. Because, yeah, there's so much stress and so much nerves that can come from being in this in-person environment. You can't forget the fundamentals. You can't forget to make sure you hit your shots, getting those thermal scopes on those burst assault rifles, making sure you can get there. And then when it comes to mobility, I think it's those underworld dashes. They're going to be crucial this weekend. I think teams that are landing either at a POI that's in that area or even nearby, they might just dip their toes and get those into the end game, because that's literally the only useful mobility in the end game that can set you apart from the rest. So teams around there, I expect to do well in end game.
There's also certain teams that are around those static launch pads, like Queasy and Thomas. Although they are all the way over on that southeastern side, they do have that launch pad there that will allow them to rotate, as well as the Flaming Hoop. So there's certain duos that definitely do have a lot more environmental mobility around them that they can use to their advantage. But obviously, where the zone pulls is going to play a major factor in how these teams rotate.
Okay, and you bring up Queasy and Thomas. We kind of touched on them a little bit. I want to circle back. So we bring together two Titans. You know, they've had so much experience separate, and now we bring them together. What does that look like on this global stage, right? Like, are they where they need to be to look and say, look, this is it. This is our year. We're going to walk away global champions?
I think so. Honestly, I think that they've had a lot of practice. Queasy has already proven himself on the LAN setting, getting second place, so close to first. And of course, I love that moment. Queasy Vino dropping on Cammy and setting. Really, a lot of people still regard that as one of the best FNCS LAN moments to date. And I think that it is possible that we see Queasy bring out another strat like that. They do not want to get second place again.
Yeah, they really don't. And Thomas is still looking for that FNCS title. And I kind of wanted to pick his brains a little bit. I said to him, does that affect you? Does that sort of linger and be like, oh, you know, I still haven't won FNCS, it's been so long, I played for this amount of time? And he said, no, I don't really look at the performances, my past history, like that. I look at every single FNCS, I take it as it comes, and try and do the best that we can, which I really like, and that shows the experience of the players, right? They've been playing for so long, they've even played together all the way back in the days in squads and stuff like that, so they're no strangers to each other in this environment. So this is going to be a very experienced duo to look out for, and a very experienced duo that seem to put themselves in the right position at all times. Queasy's really, really good at that. He's one of those players that is, of course, going to be taking the more IGL role here, taking the lead in this duo and making sure they're in a good situation. We haven't seen them play height too much, so I mean, you know, a lot of people are saying, like, you know, Queasy is the height king. It's been a little bit 50-50 for these guys. We've seen them trying to go up for it, so you might think of Queasy and think, yeah, they're going to be going up on height every single game. I don't think we're going to expect to see that, but they have it in their back pocket if they need it.
Sorry, just to bring out even more numbers, not only has Thomas been missed out on first place by just a single point, he's gotten second place 3 times and then third place 4 times. Wow. I mean, when you're talking about consistency, there's a reason that Thomas HD is considered one of the best aimers in the game, but he's aiming for that first place now.
Yeah, it's interesting that you kind of like that he thinks about it, right? Because it's easy to look at those numbers and go, well, you've never won, so like, but no, you're so unbelievably consistent that literally season to season, you are adapting and almost punching up, right? You know, look at Peterbot and Pollo, they're just coming out saying, we're just dropping 1,000 points. No big deal in a season, but for someone like Thomas HG with that experience, that's crazy to think about.
I mean, if you want to talk about world records, Queasy and Vino getting 6 victory royales out of 12 last year. I mean, these guys just pull out these crazy strats, are able to pull out crazy plays, and I want to see it on the big stage this weekend. I know that it's going to be probably a little slow for game 1, but we know a lot of these players aren't sharing everything with us because they have some strats in their back pocket.
Yeah, that seems to be the common theme when we're trying to talk to players. Like, oh, so what are you going to be doing and when that team contests you? Where are you going to be rotating? They're like, you think I'm going to tell you? Like, You really think I'm going to tell you? And I can't get anything out of them. So that's what's so impressive and what's so interesting about these LAN events is everyone's in the same lobby. You know, we get to see how teams, you know, we do our VOD review, we do our preparation, the other teams will do that as well. We get to see them in their own home environment, but we haven't seen this lobby ever, right? So it's going to be so interesting to see how they mesh together and how some of the fights go down early on and later on.
Yeah, that's a really scary thought, right? Because even think, we've had a number of practice games leading into this, right? And some of these duos have said, even in those situations, I'm not going to reveal anything, right? Someone like Bugha has been like, well, I could play, or I could just kind of keep everything in the back pocket. You will get nothing from me.
Yeah, watching these scrims and not having Bugha's name in it has been a little bit, not concerning necessarily, although I do think practice makes perfect. Getting any kind of practice in before the competition, but it's Bugha, it's World Cup Bugha. I'm sure whatever he has prepared is better than what I can think of.
I mean, I'll tell you who was looking good though in the practice scrims was Acorn and Cold. I think they had like 16 eliminations in one of the games. They weren't backing down. They wanted to fight every single person. And just even, you know, maybe they're not bringing out the strats that they're going to use. Maybe they're not bringing out those rotations. Just their ability to sort of fight with each other, have that synergy. You could see glimpses of that in the practice games yesterday. So it seems like they're on top form. I'm excited to see what those guys can do as well.
But is that a bit of like painting a target on your back, right? If you're willing to go out that far and just go like, hey, we're willing to take the fight to you, we're kind of willing to show you who we are. Think of someone like Peterbot, right? Just so confident, just willing to say like, hey, wherever you are, if you want to come contest us, we'll be right here. So feel free to roll on over. That could work against any of these duos.
I mean, it's great that we were just talking about Acorn and Cold and potentially contesting Peterbot and Pollo, because they did try that in the Grand Gate era and immediately left because Peterbot and Pollo absolutely dominated the competition. And I mean, this duo right here, Peterbot and Pollo, there is a reason that they have just been so consistent. They have conditioned the lobby, like we said. There was a moment during Major 2 where they were splitting height by zone 10. I don't even understand how that's possible, how you can hold height from 2 different positions, just beaming down the rest of the lobby below. No one was even looking up. I think players, though, are going to be looking up today.
Yeah, I mean, statistically, they've held height for the longest amount of time out of any duo this chapter, so I expect to see those guys up on height. And to your point, Zeke, about how their confidence goes into this, I think they feed off of that so much. I think Peterbot has that aura about him where he wants to feel like he is the best player in this lobby. Nobody comes close. And I think the way that he talks about himself, the way he carries himself, I think really aids his gameplay. You can see that when he's walking out. He's just like, yeah, I belong here. I belong on the big stage. We've had second, first this year. This is our time. And I think that just plays into it. Some people will crumble under that pressure, but Peterbot's got so much experience now at winning. I think he believes in himself, and having that undisputed, undeniable belief in yourself is so vital when you get to this big stage.
Okay, you kind of said something that piqued my interest. We're talking about high ground, right? Yeah. Maybe there's people that are tuning, they're like, okay, you've said high ground, I don't know what that means. High ground, low ground. Maybe break this down a little bit for us, because I don't know, like you guys that follow, you know, there's a lot of high ground teams. And there's only one high ground. So how can we expect that to kind of unfold, especially like if we're all looking at high ground going, okay, are you going up, I'm going up, and then we're all thinking the same thing. We're looking for that perfect time.
Well, obviously, by having the high ground, you just have such better angles, better visuals of the rest of the lobby. And there's a lot of that goes into kind of controlling high ground. Some teams take it a little too early. They use those mats. And then when they see these high ground teams kind of switch to wood builds, well, that's when teams are going to try and chop them out, try and steal high ground from them. So it's almost a little risky to take high ground a little too early because you're going to use those mats. But with it being a low mobility meta, stealing height is going to be a lot harder.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's where those underworld dashes are really going to come into play. Pop a Fizz, get the underworld dashes, save them to the end game. I think teams that land in that sort of area can definitely take height. And as you mentioned, it's a low, no mobility meta, so a structured height take is more what I expect to see here. When we have mobility in the game, we had various different mobility across the last few seasons and chapters. You can literally just look up, say, I don't think they're too confident up there. Let's just dash our way up and we're on height. So I think now we're going to see teams like Cammy and Seti that have taken height in the past, previously known as a low ground team, then sort of evolve their playstyle to take height when they need to. They're very structured at that. They're very good at it. They know how to get to that front side of zone and then make sure that they can claim height. So it's not necessarily you're going to be a high ground team or a low ground team. For some of these teams like Cammy and Seti, they have it all.
Yeah, and speaking of teams that like to take height, Clix and Veno. Clix, when he was playing with Epic Whale and Epic Whale, he was taking high ground way too early, around zone 9, and then on like constantly getting chopped out. But joined by Veno, who has reined him in just a little bit. They did such a good job during Major 3, controlling high ground, especially in day 1.
Okay, yeah. Let's circle back. Clix and Veno. Let's take a moment, right? Let's give them a moment to kind of talk about this duo. how are they performing? So you've touched on it a little bit. Can you maybe break down just a little more for me? What has Veno brought to Clix, right? We've seen Clix kind of pair up with a few different duos, and then obviously we had Queasy and Veno for so long. Yeah. And then you're suddenly like, okay, wait, Veno, you're leaving EU to go compete on NA. You're already used to competing in EU, and now we're gonna change all of that up, and you're gonna go play with someone like Clix? Are you crazy?
It's honestly, we've already talked about it, how well paired it is. It's honestly looking almost like a trio competition where you have the IGL, you have the Fragger, and then you have the support player. Yep. But you just mesh IGL and Fragger together, and that's Veno. And Clix plays the perfect support. Watching them play in Major 3 was like watching a dance. Constantly in Veno's shadow, Clix was ready to prepare for him. And watching some of these plays that they made in the end game, where Clix would shoot towards a box, the team would get distracted in one direction, and then Veno would quickly rotate into the back and 1v2 them. It was so exciting to watch them play. They had their strategy down to a pat, but even when a wrench was thrown into that, they were able to evolve, they were able to adjust, and I think even though they might potentially be contested here today, I don't think that's going to throw them off their game too much.
Yeah, well, remember, Major number 3, their debut season, they were looking strong to win the entire Major. Yeah. I think it was the last 3 games where things didn't quite go too well for them. I think for Veno, he didn't have a very good start in terms of EU's performance with Tayson. He, of course, played Major 1 and Major 2 with Tayson. You imagine this is like a Titan duo. I mean, you can see on the screen right now, he is ready and raring to go. He's been in this situation before, but as I was saying, he was playing with Tayson, didn't quite work out. He's looking at other options in EU and thought, well, not really any players that sort of suit me here. This is not, I don't want to be going into Major 3 not 100% comfortable, and I think that's why we saw him move over to NA, and as I mentioned earlier, Clix is just the perfect teammate. At the beginning of their sort of journey together, things were a little bit rough, you know, maybe it was a little bit exaggerated, but you could tell that things weren't quite on the same page. But now though, when you watch them in endgame, the way they play through these tarps, the way they're hip to hip, as you mentioned, making little strategies, little plays in endgame, it's so good to watch, and they're really exciting team in endgame. When they're playing those mid-ground layers, it's so good.
We also have to give a shout out to their coach. BloodX has just done such a good job making sure that they are ready to go, making sure that they are focused, because they are pretty emotional players. When they start getting hyped, they are on a tear, and then once they start going down, it's a little rough for them, but they have been able to work on that, evolve from that. And personally, I saw a lot of growth from Clix during Major 3, where Veno was down, he was feeling out, and Clix just kept building it up, saying, no, we got this, we're doing great. And Veno would kind of turn around a little bit and start smiling on stream, and you know Clix is locked in when he turns off his face cam and comms, and that's what we were seeing in the Cash Cup. You know that when he is starting to take away from his stream, that he is serious.
That's right. I love this breakdown from you guys. As we continue to prepare ourselves to kick off the competition, we actually wanted to check in with Adam and get his thoughts on the competition. Adam, it's crazy. Are you?
I'm incredibly hyped. I mean, I watched you guys do the walkouts. I mean, the players seem unbelievably up for this. I mean, the last couple of days, for you guys who don't know this, behind the scenes here, the players who have been in the player lounge this entire time have been obviously scrimming, getting together, competing against each other, and kind of testing the waters of what's going to be this incredible competition with 12 games over 2 days here. Personally, kind of sitting back and actually chatting to the players, it's a rare thing you get to do here at these in-person events. Obviously, you see them online all the time competing, and we kind of see their names on screen. But actually meet them in the flesh and having kind of conversations about like life in general, how things are, how they got to this place, is always really interesting to me. Kind of the aspirations of kind of what they hope to achieve here in the next season, and the partnerships, and you get a real sense of the energy and the kind of like the relationship that the players have in their duos as well here, which is really exciting. Also really cool, which is happening in the player lounge here, you get to meet a lot of the family around the, kind of players as well here, players from all over the world. You get to see their kind of their friends, they're kind of like their closest, who have come to embrace this amazing experience. Obviously the audience, who I love you guys already, like we've known each other for 5 minutes and you're brilliant. The energy in that room is incredible, but to actually meet the kind of people who in their personal lives as well has been really special, and something really kind of, I always like kind of love learning about backstories and stuff as well here. But actually here in the player lounge, they were here till quite late last night. Everyone was kind of grinding, kind of making the most of their time they actually have here to kind of practice ahead of what's going to be, 12 games, 6 games today, 6 games tomorrow. Don't forget as well, I'm sure that tonight after the first 6 games,
who's still in the lounge?
Back looking to see exactly how they can perfect their game, go into that second day where things are really going to count, courtesy of the elimination points and of course those standing points as well. For now, though, I'm going to hand back to you guys. I'm going to kind of remain kind of cool, fresh, and calm back here. It's very quiet right now, and there's lots and lots and lots for me to going to do, courtesy of some basketball and some fun stuff behind me.
Did you say basketball? I'll be right there. Actually, I'll be there in a little bit. Guys, as we continue to talk, I wanted to highlight another duo. Just throw out. I'll go ahead and say this is probably my personal favorite duo. It's Paper. Victor V. I mean, come on. We saw these guys
It's
compete,
been almost
and Victor
an hour
V, I feel like University's won over everyone, right? To come out, to be paired up with someone like Paper, to just kind of take him under his wing and then say like, okay, Victor V, oh wow, you're just eliminating everything. You're going absolutely crazy. Sounds good.
You know, how I was kind of referencing them in Major 3, I was like, oh, Paper, this long-standing veteran, and Victor V, the new blood. And then I actually look back, and Victor V's been competing for quite a while at such a young age, and to perform at the level that he has is so impressive. And I mentioned one coach, I gotta mention another, Victor V's dad. What an incredible coach. That little video that they released before the Global Championships, I am absolutely in love with this whole team of Paper and Victor V.
Yeah, they're like the brotherly duo, aren't they? Even when they were doing the walkout, sort of hopping over each other.
Great.
That's so cool. I love them. I'm interested to see how they're going to do. Of course, they seem to be uncontested at the moment towards that central area of the map. Interested to see what happens there. And I was speaking to Victor the other day after
what's
their
good,
media day. I
Elijah,
said,
bro?
oh, how was the media day? Did you enjoy
you,
being on camera? He said, yeah, I was kind of a bit nervous. I was like, are you more nervous for that in the game? And he said, yeah, I'm more nervous for the media day questions and stuff than the actual game itself. So he's looking confident, feeling confident as well. And I like the dynamic they have with each other. That helps so much, especially for someone like Victor, who is young, you know, he's new to this sort of in-person event. It's just going to help settle the nerves so much.
Yeah, you know, there's kind of this dialogue of how a lot of these duos, a lot of these players, when they do break up, they kind of tend to pick someone that's already been established, a veteran. And the question is, why aren't they picking these kind of young bloods? Why aren't they picking these like young WK Kings that can really evolve, especially if you have a very established IGL? And that's exactly what Paper did. He knew, he already read the strategy book, and picking a Victor V clearly worked out in his favor because here they are on the global stage.
Just wild. I mean, once again, we just want to continue to remind you guys just how much talent is on this stage, how many majors we've gone through, how many duos fought to the very end to try and make it here to compete on the stage. And now they're going to compete in front of all of you for a title to prove that they are the best. And now that we're kind of like mixing regions, it's not even just like, hey, which region is best. No, it's just who's got the title and who doesn't.
So
I mean, I think when you talk about regions too, what's so exciting is that when these
you
smaller
can like
regions
look
really
around
do pop up,
11. That's when like all the teams will be shown on the leaderboard.
But I want to know who is going to be popping up today. Are we going to have one of these smaller regions really showing up the rest of NA and EU?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was King and Phaser. I thought these guys were going to be the best of those smaller regions. With so much experience on stage, because they won major number 3 as well, so they seem to know how to play in their own region as well, as we already know. I think that was kind of a little bit of a question mark now that they might be contested by one of our teams. So they already had a really good drop spot. I'm intrigued as to how that off-spawn battle is going to go, because I don't think it's necessarily going to work in their favor at that particular middle of the map drop spot.
And speaking of other smaller regions as well, we already talked about Haman and Cal Gamer, but FKS and Adapter, that one team to take away that one win from them in Major 2. So another incredible duo here that might be showing up, although they are contested as well.
Yeah, they are. They're sort of like that mini Olympus area, just the north side of that. I'm intrigued about what they're going to do there. Whether one of those teams decides if they do win off spawn, maybe they go towards that north side of that Grand Glacier area. If the fight does take a little bit longer, maybe that could be a good opportunity for them to get some Storm Surge as well. Even those static launch pads that are nearby as well, they can get up on that hill, base up a little bit as well. So they have so many different options at their disposal. And I mean, Cal Gamer and his teammate as well. What a duo to talk about, because I love the way that Cal Gamer carries himself, right? He's one of those players that's just like, he's so cool. Like he never shows any nerves, and you can see why. He is so good on Middle East. I believe he's got the highest amount of damage this entire chapter as well. So he is one of those players that can perform on LAN. It's all about what that off-spawn situation is going to do, because we saw it at the last Global Championships, contested in both the upper and the lower bracket, and they didn't make it to the grand final. So I'm hoping now they can hopefully fix a few of those off-spawn mistakes.
Okay, I want to circle back here. Bugha of VEEV. All right, let's talk about this guy for it. No, but yeah, you guys can cheer. It's okay. It's
allowed.
Yeah, Bugha. I mean, dude, you know, when we think about Fortnite, if you're someone who's like never heard of Fortnite at all, but someone says Bugha, you're like, yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, I know Bugha is, right? I want to see this guy win a global championship title, to just have like every single title imaginable. Like, it just would cement him forever, right? He's already regarded as like this incredible player. And when you have as many like accolades as him, like people would just, they would trade it all to even have like even half of those accolades.
And just how, you know, just how strictly people look at Bugha, where if he's not getting first, then he's getting last. I don't understand how the community could ever say like, oh, Bugha's washed, oh, he didn't win global championship.
I don't get it.
But then he gets the back-to-back wins between chapters 3 and 4, and then of course going for 3rd place in Major 1 to 7th place in Major 3, and they did split up in Major 2, but obviously they felt some kind of synergy. They understood that this was the duo to make their ticket into the global championships.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out when they split duos. They of course came back together, and that's really, really difficult to do. When you're a team that has had a little bit of success before, split up, come back together, what are the vibes going to be like there, right? It's like, hang on a sec, you just dropped me, and now you're coming back to ask if we can play. So it's nice to see them still performing well. I genuinely think this is a really, really good chance of them getting a top 5, maybe even the win, depending on how the weekend goes, because their situations seem to just work out really nicely for them. I mentioned it earlier, they can go towards that east side, towards that castle. Lots of different teams, even to the north of the castle as well, that are going to be landing there. So interesting to see how they can sort of manage those early storm surge damage. And even if they do get a little bit of their loot stolen from that gas station to the south of their drop, I still don't think they're going to be in trouble. I still think this is a team that can pull it out of the bag. Much like Acorn and Cole, when it comes to the end game, they're still going to be looking stacked because they can find those eliminations.
Yeah, I mean, Bugha, an incredible IGL, and then Aviv grabbing all of those eliminations as well. And the loot, like you were talking about, the loot that they walk out of that POI is absolutely ridiculous. They are stacked by Zone 2, and no one wants to face.
I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. Like, we're gonna, like, still watch it, kind of. This is gonna be on my own account, because or something. I'm not banned, chat. Chill. I'm not banned. I'm just wanting to play up at all. I'm carrying viewers right now. These are all of the teams, chat. And of course, none of my friends are in. Yay! None of my friends are like that. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. I gotta watch my boy Swissy Wissy Dissy. No. Oh my god, that was so close. No. Yes! Oh my god! I'm scared. Seems like no one cares. In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry, not a single tear. Oh, I would somehow just fly. In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. Oh, not a single tear. I can't move. I can't move. Try, I can't move. I can't move. Can't move, chat. Chat, I can't move. I can't move. Over. In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. Oh, not a single tear. I wanted to. That's why. In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. Not a single tear. In the back of your mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. Not a single tear. In the back of my mind, you died. 4v4. Eventually,
you force the man with the least trip ever out of the first character in protagonist. Finally, someone with a brain. Does the protagonist end up surviving? I don't know. Play the game. The last and most interesting villains in the Ranger franchise. Instead of bootleg master balls or machines powered by ancient dark magic, they wear these robotic ornaments that can store Johto region in 1 hour. Oh man, I can't wait for a holiday. High five, son. Sure. Son, you pressed the wrong button. What does that mean?
Get out!
Their plan for world domination is also pretty basic. Only seeking control over legendary birds Zapdos and Moltres. The lore of the Oblivia region, having control over all three isn't Lugia supposed to be the one associated with legendary birds? Whatever. Many things don't make sense with this group, like why they look more like this shocking collection of orange-haired individuals are Team Flare. They're headed by 4 scientists that I challenge anyone to remember the names of. Believe me, I was very shocked too when I found out this guy is the head of Team.
Which